Thanks for joining us once again. I'm Lynn Doyle, and this is It's Your Call. We're talking about choosing a charity and giving viewers a chance to tell us about your favorite one. We're going to go right back to the telephone lines where Debbie is joining us from Baltimore. She's a supporter of a group called Fidos for Freedom. Debbie, good to have you with us.
Hi, Lynn. How are you today?
I'm great, thank you. You've kind of piqued my interest. Fidos for Freedom? What is that all about?
Yes, Fidos meaning dog. I actually volunteer, my dog volunteers for a nonprofit organization in Laurel, Maryland that has two different parts of the program. One, they do therapy dogs, and also they train assistance dogs. And so that's where the Dogs for Freedom, to help the community and also disabled clients to have access to many more things than they would if they didn't have the assistance dogs.
Now, how do you get the word out about that charity, that nonprofit?
We do a lot of community education. Actually, last year we educated more than 10,000 school-age children and different age children on the benefits of just about clients with disabilities and how the assistance dogs, how they can improve their life. So we have a lot of community outreach programs.
All right. Well, we wish you continued success with it, Debbie. Good to hear from you.
Thank you.
Okay, good luck with Fido. We have something for everyone. If you want to tell us about your particular charity or you have questions or comments about how to choose a charity, you can email me right now. I want to talk about choosing a charity because all of them that we've talked to so far today and the millions that exist in this country seem like they're worthwhile. What should people be looking for when they've decided to support a nonprofit?
Well, for one thing, we've certainly learned over the years that not all charities are created equal, and some are really, really bad, and some are marvelous, and I'm sure many of those that we've heard about today. So it's really critical to use your head as well as your heart. It starts from the heart, the passion, what you care most about, but you need to do some real research to make sure you don't get ripped off. And that's why we think there are three critical things to look at. One is the finances, to make sure that they're using the money efficiently and effectively. The second is to make sure that they've got the right structure and oversight, that a CEO doesn't have a runaway train, for example, and that they're open with you. You call them, they answer. And then lastly, and this is something that we're working on, we don't have it yet on our site, is to measure the results of the work. Data that shows that it's not just about this one story that they have on their website, but they're doing this over and over again in an effective way.
And Phil, how about you? Do you have particular criteria that Good Scout recommends?
Well, definitely echoing what Ken has said, and we even utilize Charity Navigator quite a bit. I would just add to community presence is very important as well. And what we mean by that is we really encourage people to talk to others, to learn about nonprofits and to learn about charities. Talk to employees that have worked at charities and nonprofits. Get involved, get engaged. Volunteering is a great way to determine if that's somewhere you would also like to put dollars. So that's going to be critical to that part as well.
Okay, we're going to return to the telephone lines now where Dan has called from Trenton. Dan, great to have you with us.
Thanks, Lynn. I appreciate this opportunity.
So tell me about your group and why it's worthy of support.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, we're the National Junior Tennis and Learning, known as the NJTL of Trenton. We're considered the nonprofit arm of the United States Tennis Association, but we govern ourselves here in Trenton, New Jersey. And our personal mission is to enhance lives by providing free opportunities and instruction for low-income children in the greater Trenton area in nutrition, education, and tennis. What makes us unique is that we use tennis as a hook, and then we provide after-school and summer education and wellness programs to over 2,000 low-income youth.
And what kind of success stories have you been able to cultivate?
We've actually had a banner year, so to speak. We've had numerous success stories, one in which is our own ACE curriculum. We saw community need, and based on the educational systems that were going here in Trenton, we knew we had to come up with a stronger educational component to go with our tennis. So we created an academic creative engagement curriculum with the help of teachers and specialists, and we have something now that's connected to math, literacy, and nutrition.
Wow.
and learning, and they're actually connected to learning standards as well as the sport of tennis. So
How
it's
about
very
that?
engaging, extremely engaging. It's been so successful here in Trenton, and we have proven results. And it's been that successful that it's currently being launched across the country to other urban school systems.
Well, kudos to you on that. What a great idea to combine all of those things for the betterment of our young people and their health. Dan, thanks so much. I appreciate the call.
Oh, thank you, Lynn. We appreciate it.
Sure thing. Back to our guest here in the studio. If you have questions or comments or concerns about charities, they are taking your calls and your emails as well. In fact, I want to share one with you. The number one concern that this viewer has expressed is that she is concerned about whether or not her money is actually going to the charitable cause to which she donated, or whether it's paying salaries of people who are working for the charity. Now, obviously, people have to work for these charities in order for them to grow, so you can't begrudge them that. But is there a certain percentage or something that we should be looking at of how much a charity uses for itself and how much it uses for its cause?
There is. Typically, you look at a range of about 20%, which is a good factor, and Ken can probably comment on that as well. But usually the 20 to 25% range in terms of administration is what you would look at, with approximately 75% going back directly into the cause and the service and the programs.
Is that a number one concern of people, though, that they're afraid they're going to get ripped off, that somehow they're going to make this donation and, the children or the battered women or the homeless people are never going to see their dollar?
Yes, and because of all the scandals that have happened in the past and continue to happen, that concern remains very significant. And I agree that generally we find that percent of 20 to 25%, that includes administration and fundraising cost, should be as much as it goes for most cause areas. Those are the best, the ones we rate the highest have that.
Now, you mentioned scandals, and that there have been, sadly, many unfortunate situations across the country where charities have been ripped off by people that were working in and within them, including most recently this Second Mile Foundation, which was formed originally by Jerry Sandusky. People are very confused about whether or not they can trust to give their money to organizations like that. When a scandal does happen, should you withdraw your support, or should you wait and see how it all plays out?
We generally recommend that you do take a pause. And in fact, we have a donor advisory system for groups like the Second Mile, where we advise that wait till the dust settles, find out what the results are, and also see evidence that they've taken corrective action before you give again. We generally advise caution. I mean, it is the donor's choice. We provide the information objectively, but generally we think it's wise to just wait and see, because you don't know how far it goes, and you don't know what's true, what isn't true.
And it's so sad, because there are many children who are helped by organizations like that. Even if they are embroiled in a scandal, there are some who are still trying to help the kids. So they lose out on a short term, but I guess on the long term it's better. We're going to give you an opportunity to tell us about your charity. Let's go back to the telephone lines, where Tom is our next caller. He's from a group called The Joy of Socks. Tom, that has to be one of the best charity names I've ever heard.
Hey, thanks, Lynn.
So what is the mission of The Joy of Socks?
Well, let me ask your audience a question. Do you have a sock drawer at home? Well, the homeless don't. So the mission of The Joy is simple, Lynn, to provide socks for the homeless. Now think about it. What do you do when your clothes wear out or go out of fashion? You probably donate them to a good cause.
Right.
But what about your socks? They're usually worn out and have holes in them.
Right.
So the homeless rarely get donations of new socks. And then another question, Lynn, is how often, not necessarily you, but do people change their socks a day? Once? Twice? Well, our homeless friends, the men, women, and children, they only have one pair and wear them 24/7 until they get another pair. So imagine what your feet would feel like or smell like, or the fungus and bacteria that may develop until you get another pair of socks.
I never thought about that, Tom, that if you wore the same socks over and over, particularly if you were out in the elements and your feet were wet and it was hot, that there are all kinds of health-related issues that can result from not having good socks. I just never thought about that before.
Yeah, it's amazing, Lynn. I've got two quick stories.
Well, I don't have time for two quick stories. Okay. But I will tell you that if you hang on, I'll talk to you on the other side of the break. How's that?
Super, thank you.
Okay, hang on. We'll be right back, folks. Don't go away.